Hey, this is Steve in Dallas, Texas. It's Saturday morning, my friend, and you are listening to Light Talk.
And this is Brackley, 2 weeks in a row, coming to you from Las Vegas, Nevada, and you are listening to Light Talk.
And this is Kelsey, coming to you from Los Angeles, California. I'm here because I'm the winner of the grand prize of last week's LDI Light Talk show. This is the grand prize?
I'm afraid so.
That is correct, Kelsey. Can you imagine what the loser receives? This is Dennis coming to you live from New York. Most of us survived Las Vegas, and we are now back for a Lumen family discussion to talk about it, right here on Light Talk.
And this is David coming to you from the beautiful Belmont Shore neighborhood. And frigid, by the way. It's frigid. It hit 58 degrees last night. I couldn't believe it. Absolutely frigid here. Long Beach, California. And if you don't already know, you are listening to Light Talk, and we are the Lumen Brothers
and Sister.
That's right, Kelsey. Welcome, everyone, to episode 455. And that voice you heard is our grand prize winner from 2 weeks ago, Kelsey Aragi. And she won the duck, and she won the shot glass that every guest in the show has drank from that shot glass. She's won the commemorative, not ready for dishwasher coffee mug that we all signed. And she won a duck. And what else? Oh, she won this. She wanted to be a guest co-host on the show.
I would take that shot glass right now and just put it in a teacup full of Clorox bleach.
Yes, I would Clorox
for about a week.
Thing.
You guys obviously aren't aware. I saw that shot glass on eBay. I think Kelsey got like $400 for it.
Whoa!
Oh, no.
The other thing, Kelsey's too young to remember, but we all know what happened when the duck came down on Groucho Marx. It meant you won the prize.
That's right, $50.
That's right.
But we're too cheap for $50.
I remember that.
Yeah, well, anyway, welcome, Kelsey. It's great to have you here as a honorary Lumen sister. And
thank you.
Unfortunately, Ellen can't be here because she's stuck in New York working, and she's exhausted. I'm tired.
We have 7 inches of snow here. She can't get any taxis.
Wow.
That's right. That's probably what's going on. But anyway, she's there. She sends her regrets, but she said Kelsey's going to do a great job filling in for me. So that's terrific. So anyway, today, let's talk about today. We have a one-topic show for everyone, and it's all about LDI 2025. As you all know, we were there 2 weeks ago. We did a live show there. We broadcasted it last week. So if you're interested in listening to the show, check out episode 454. And that is the actual live show that we did there. And you get to hear Kelsey go, "Oh my God, I won. Look at this. That duck is so cute. That duck is..." Anyway, but yeah, so you get to hear all that stuff. And it was actually a pretty good show, right? So anyway, today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the actual, not necessarily the Light Talk show, which we'll talk a little bit about that, but it's mostly about LDI. We're going to talk about products. We're going to talk about our favorite and not so favorite booths. We're going to talk about the best swag. We're going to talk about a whole bunch of stuff that we experienced over the 3 or 4 days that we were all there. Things that impressed us, things that did impress us, things we wanted to see, didn't see, whatever. Okay? So before we begin, though, I think we need a shout out to Ellen because she can't be here. But at the awards show, it was revealed that this is Ellen's 38th LDI. And that's amazing. And I was fortunate. I stayed to the very bitter end this year. I went up to the LDI office, and there was Ellen with her staff. Her whole staff was there. And I was so happy to talk to her and congratulate her. And, of course, the staff as well. They put on a great show. Overall, I think this was one of the best LDIs I've ever been to. And I've been to most of them since number 1.
And the other thing that Ellen said at the award show is that she hopes to make it to her 40th.
At least. She should go
And
for
more.
50.
Pretty incredible.
I think they should go for a half a century of LDIs. Mm-hmm. So, anyway, we are so proud of our sister Ellen, and what a job she and her staff did. So, but we'll get more into that. First, let's briefly talk about our show that we did live 2 weeks ago. That 45-minute crazy show that most of you can hear, episode 454, Light Talk Live at LDI. So how do you all feel? We were all on the panel. Everybody who's here today was on that panel. So how did it feel? I mean, Dennis, this is your first one. What did you think?
I had a blast. I just was so impressed by the whole thing. I was impressed by the whole show, the LDI show. was the first time I've been there in 20 years. But I haven't had any or heard any feedback from anybody who listened to the show. But I did have feedback from people at LDI who would stop me on the floor, on the vendor floor, or in the hallways, and say who were at the taping and just had a great time. It was really special. It was really well done. I felt proud to be there. And if you were to ask me what was the number one high point or highlight of LDI for me, it would have been that event. It was really very special. And thank you for inviting me.
Well, you're a brother.
I agree. I had two people come to me afterward and just say they really enjoyed the show. And it was great to see a big crowd. It was good to see a mix of ages and genders, which was really fun to see. And I really enjoyed it.
What was the final count? We had maybe 80, 85 people live in the audience?
It was a great turnout.
In reality, since we don't video the show, we could be telling this audience we had 250 people there. Who knows? I did have one person, my daughter, who heard the show, and she thought it was just incredible that the whole audience was singing vocals to the Light Talk theme song.
That's one of the more surprising things.
It's a hard vocal. It's a hard vocal.
Oh, yeah, it's hard. It's like Neil Diamond needs to sing it, Sweet Caroline.
What was so good about it was, I think, also we forget that we are all part of a small community that has shared experiences. The question you posed to the audience about A-frames, everyone responded to that and was in tune with what an A-frame was. There was no one looking confused by that. So the idea of our follow spots better left turned off most of the time, everyone responded to that. They all had their kind of follow spot horror look on their face.
Yeah. It's funny that A-frame, I was really surprised so many people actually had climbed an A-frame, because there were a lot of young people there. Kelsey, have you ever climbed an A-frame?
Yes.
Okay, that's amazing.
Oh, wow. There you go.
God, I thought they outlawed them.
As the youngster in the group, Kelsey, what did you think? And also, have you talked to any of your peers that might have heard the show or been there to hear what their thoughts were?
Ran into a couple of people who were excited for me to host. They're like, okay, you were there, we heard your question, and now we want to hear you host. I really enjoyed it. I walked in and saw the blue balls, the stress balls. I thought we were going to throw them at somebody. I was worried you had a game cooked up.
We were thinking about a lot of things.
Yeah, the questions were really good too.
We should save that for next year.
What? Say what?
Oh, the blue balls.
The
so when someone comes up to get their award, the audience gets to throw a blue ball at them.
I got tons of balls here. Yeah, you can't.
I have heard that about you.
We bought 110 blue balls. Okay, and I think so 80 of those were taken. So yeah, we could throw them out in the audience in the middle of the show. I wanted to do that this time.
Animal House, where they had the food fight? Yeah. We could have the Light Talk ball fight.
I was thinking the same thing.
You need a dunk tank.
Okay.
And you need someone to throw the ball and dunk one of the Lumen Brothers.
Yes. Brackley, you want to be on the little seat?
Or we were thinking about just dumping them off the balcony of LDI.
I think we dunk Snoot. I think Snoot gets
dunked. She's not into that. Okay. She's into a lot of things, but being on top of a thing with water underneath her, she's not into. All right. Well, it was a great show. I think it was our best yet. And we missed Stan, and we didn't miss Ellen. Ellen was there at the show. That was a great surprise.
Yeah.
She pulled herself away from that giant convention that she basically runs for 45 minutes and was able to be on that show. And I was so thrilled that she made it.
You said beforehand she was going to make it by hook or by crook.
Has Ellen ever been on the LDI Light Talk show?
She's always been too busy.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, she's always been putting fires out.
She has
right.
She has actually
Literally.
been in the room and have to leave before we start. It's not for lack of trying.
Right, she has tried, and people can barely make it sometimes. Stan almost couldn't make it last year because of a medical issue, but he did. He came in at the last second. And for people who don't know what happened, I think we had a question. Where's Stan? He had a medical procedure. It's not. I mean, he's fine. Don't worry about it. It's nothing really important. But unfortunately, the timing was that he was in recovery from the procedure. But no, he's fine. So everybody who was wondering about Stan, he's okay. Don't worry about it. So, and he may come next year. He said, maybe I'll be a surprise for next year. I said, why not? Anyway, so yeah, so the great show. And I congratulate my brothers and sisters. It was just wonderful. And the technicians. I want to thank the technicians. Although they did give me a scare, because when I got home to start editing the show, I had 7 beautiful audio tracks that were nothing but flat lines with no information on them. And I thought for sure, oh my God, they didn't have any of the signals turned up. And as it turned out, they barely had them up, because after I zoomed in, I saw little bumps. So I ran it through AI, and thank God for AI, it restored all those tracks. So, I mean, I couldn't believe it. I thought for sure we had a lost show.
How high did your blood pressure go during that time?
No, I was pretty calm, actually, because, it's like what Snoot said, hey, I guess what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. And I said, yeah, I guess so. So there you go.
And what have we learned from this?
What have we learned from this? They'll do a test.
Yes.
I thought they did a test. They didn't do a test. I couldn't believe it. All right, so there you go. Let's move on, though. Let's talk now about new products, because we all had a chance to go around the floor. I saw Kelsey and Keegan out several times. They even saw me the last day. What are you still doing here? I said, I'm looking for food and booze. Let me tell you something. Yeah. It was incredible.
What was your favorite product? What did you like, Kelsey?
I went to the Martin demo room, which was upstairs away from the booth, and they had the Encore 2 on display that they were doing a demo for. So that was really exciting, because you saw that and compared to some of their older fixtures, and was able to see just how they were able to update the color and the output. And we had them program some things on the spot, which was really fun to see how they were able to just show us all the new features.
Brackley, what do you think?
I went to the smaller booth and took a look at a product that Minuet Un, which is a company out of France.
That's on my list.
I don't know if you saw that one.
Oh my God!
I really liked they have 2 of them, the Dice and the Photon, and they put a laser. The light source is a laser going through these array of mirrors and lenses, and it just is an amazing fixture for as they say, small to mid-sized venues. And I just thought it was so simple, but really the effects were really mind-boggling.
Right. And while you're mentioning that, I'm just going to jump on top of that, because that I have a list of like 5. And the Minuet Un and the Cube, what was it called? They're laser. It's actually a fixture with mirrors in it and lasers in it. Yeah. And it's just. Did you see the demo, Brackley? Did you watch the demo?
I videotaped the demo.
I did too. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, right.
It came a really close second to my favorite show. But yeah, that was a great
that was
product.
To me was a small booth. I mean, you walk by the others and they're huge and they have flashing lights and smoke and all that. But this was just so simple yet very, very effective.
I have to agree with you guys. Jay Herzog took me over there to see that. I was trying to just enjoy my beer, and he said, "There's some stuff over here that
already dragged you over.
There's probably some stuff here you would like," which I kind of felt like I was being insulted. But I walked over there, and it was just really amazing. I could see that going into a lot of small clubs.
Oh yeah,
and just changing everything. And the show was forever; it never stopped. So I mean, they had a lot to demo on that product. So I think that was the big thing for me when I saw that.
Very impressive.
I think it was AC Lighting 3 or 4 years ago that was doing a private demo of a similar product. And that was, so maybe this is the same product that's now more consumer friendly or completely new take on that idea.
And it's a modular. They have all these modular things. So if there's one thing breaks, they can just slip in a module instead of trying to take it all apart.
Also, I think the thing to impress is there were not many units being used. There were what, 15 maybe total?
Maybe 15, 20, yeah.
And it was amazing.
But some of the images were done by 3.
Yeah.
Yes.
I will also say MA Lighting has released basically the equivalent of an ETC gadget. So it's the MA version for educational spaces where you can use your PC to program and then output straight DMX to your rig. And it's like 2,000 parameters, I think. So that's exciting. to get MA to a younger audience.
I saw a bunch of products. I'm not going to name them all, but like I said, the Minuet products are great. Rowe has the most amazing translucent video screen. You saw it right when you walked in, and you basically can see through it to lights behind it. And I can see that being used. It's pretty cool. But you still see the framing, obviously. But I could just imagine hundreds of uses for something like that. Disguise has been around for a while. They have that incredible media server that saves a lot of money for smaller type of installations. $6,000 for a dongle that you just plug into your computer. Okay, now we move to Elation. They have the new X-Laser fixture. Dennis and I saw it. It was pretty impressive. Uses a Lilly laser light source and a moving light. Really powerful. Dennis and I were just looking at it, and we were getting our, the demo from the laser people on the other side of what my favorite show was on the Elation side. Also, one of the winners of the LDI Awards was this black tank. It's an architectural fixture, and it's a tiny little light that's probably about 2 inches long that you could put anywhere, and it's super bright, and that was very impressive. And that was about it. I don't know. I mean, the moving lights didn't turn me on this year, except for that laser light and the Un and the Proteus, and obviously this Elation light.
It's interesting. One of my favorite things in the show, again, like David said, is nothing to do with moving lights. But over at AC Lighting, I was talking with Kyle Morton, one of their reps there, on the line of LED tape and LED specialty items that they have, apropos of a show we had where I was talking about uplights in desks and fabricating custom lights to hide in places, especially to light talent that's highly color correct. And Moss LED lighting that's represented by Kyle at AC America was really an exceptional LED tape fixture that can be fabricated for desks. And that was really impressive to me, and definitely something I'll use. Another product was at the Filex booth. They have an LED wash fixture called the K10, and then its bigger brother, the K40, which are exceptionally bright LED fixtures rivaling 2,000-watt HMIs. As a matter of fact, I already put 50 of them on my order for the Super Bowl that I'll be renting in San Francisco, where they're headquartered. But the Filex units were everything I hoped for: small and bright, and unfortunately not cheap. They presented a brand new ellipsoidal. They're a fixture they've had out for a few years, the Q3, which is very similar to the old Source 4 Junior. It's about that size, but it's an LED that's got incredible optics. They had a Q9 fixture, which is, at least in looking at it, I didn't certainly do any sort of a demo or comparison, but every bit as strong as the Luster 3. The unfortunate dilemma is that it's about $6,000 for a Leica, which seems like, whoa, that's a bit crazy. But Brendan Sullivan, the manager and rep there, went through all the fixtures, and the Filex booth did not disappoint.
Wow. Okay, so next topic. What we wanted to see but didn't.
I could say something: more affordable lights.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head there, Brackley.
Yeah, it seems like, that's what I would love to have seen, more affordable lights. That's why the Un was great, because it was a little bit cheaper, and also their 10% discount, LDI discount, lasts till the end of December.
I'm buying one for my bedroom. Yeah. Absolutely. Snoot's going to really like that. I'm telling you. We're going to be dancing to the beams, as they say. Throw some disco on there, maybe some Pink Floyd, and go, baby.
I can't imagine we're ever going to see a great budget-friendly light. I think those days are long gone. And it's sad because theaters or it was rough when we went from a 360Q to a color trend fixture, because all of a
Oh, my
sudden
God.
the price went to almost $200. Then we went to the Source 4 fixture. I mean, now if someone's trying to upgrade their theater, 150, 200 lights, you're looking at $250,000.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
And the only reason that we could at the university was we told the university what it would cost for the regular 360Q lights, what the power would be. And we told them it'd be a third less, and they gave us this money for the LED Source 4. So
Yeah. Well,
Steve, did you get over to the TMB booth at all?
I did not. I kept walking past there. What did you see?
Well, they had an interesting little footlight there, and apropos of your desire for less expensive and stronger and better footlights, they had a foot. Basically, it's a strip light, but it could be used as a footlight, and it was a pretty cool fixture. I can't remember the exact name of the light, but you should check on their website for this TBM footlight. It might be something you'd be interested in.
I'm writing it down right now.
yeah. Okay. What I wanted to see, but didn't. Two things: a light board you can talk to, and Kelsey's laughing.
None of us are laughing anymore.
I want to ask Keegan what he thinks of that. And Verilight. Where the hell was Verilight?
I noticed that, and I think last year they had the Hive, right? And there was only 10 fixtures, and it was a prototype, and I was interested to see this year, what changes have they made, and they weren't there at all.
No.
I think they were in a room somewhere, weren't they?
I don't know. Nobody. I had 3 people ask me, where's Verilight? And I actually passed a little booth against the wall that was like from Poland. It was a Polish company, and there was a table with a Verilight logo on it. And I said, what does this have to do with anything? Unless maybe they're a rental company and they happen to stock Verilights. But what's going on, Steve? Why don't you tell us what's happening with Verilight? This is one of the largest creative entertainment design shows in the world, and they're not there.
I think the booth you're talking about, Verilight is helping them with a new networking system. So I think there were some engineers hanging out there talking people through the system that they were in the process of developing. I think maybe Kelsey has a point, and I think is there value coming to a terribly expensive trade show like NAB or LDI or you pick it, if you don't have something that is really cutting edge? It takes a while to develop a light. So perhaps they were between cycles. Perhaps they didn't have a light to show this year and they're waiting to show it in Europe. But who knows? I'm sure they had a good reason. I always hear from a lot of people, their sales staff, talking about the value of a large trade show and the value of putting that money into their marketing department to go out and reach out specifically to people or to bring them into their factories. It's a dance that they all play. But I wouldn't read too much into that.
It just seems really strange. All the other companies were there. I mean, Roby was there. Elation was there. They were all there. They were showing stuff, and some of it was not new. I mean, some of it was older legacy products that they had over the past few years. But I don't know. It sounds really strange to me, that's all. Because this is the second year in a row they've done this. Last year, they had a little section with like nobody manning it, and they had like 3 chairs and a lamp. And I think they were showing the Hive to people in another room. I think that's how that worked. But there was a Bobby Harrell sighting, so I just want you to know. He was there. So there was someone say, hey, I saw Bobby over there. I said, I looked for him. I couldn't find him.
He was at our Light Talk show.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, okay, now we're going on to our favorite booths, okay? And this has to do with the overall booth. So what are your favorite booths?
I think Martin was awfully strong. I like that big circular truss element they had in the air. I liked the economy of space. I liked how they were presenting their equipment. So that got my attention as I walked by. What about you, Brackley?
Oh, I like the Elation booth. I thought that was very well done. It was, it caught your eye with the little beams of light always moving around. I don't know, that to me was good. And I always liked the the Minuet booth was simple but good.
Kelsey, what was your favorite booth?
I like the row booth. They had their LED stage and all the transparent panels. So, it was intriguing enough to spend some time really looking at stuff.
All I could say is, except for Brackley, you must have missed the Elation booth. That's what I have to say.
Right.
I agree.
I went by there. I spent some time.
Really? I mean, I saw the Roby booth, which I thought was pretty spectacular until I walked around the corner to Elation. And wow, David and I happened to see that together, so I'll let David speak to it.
It was the second time I saw that show, and it wins my vote for the best show, booth show.
I went back 2 more times.
Yeah, I saw it twice. And matter of fact, it was so impressive. Dennis and I, we were talking to Eric Loader, who is an old friend of ours. He's been on the show. He's a big wig at Elation. And he introduced us to Melody Franz, and who's the creative director of that show. And Caleb, and I don't have Caleb's last name, but he's the programmer. And they're both going to be on Light Talk, on an upcoming episode of Light Talk. So to talk about their process of putting that show together. But for listeners who weren't there, it was a live show. It was one of the only it may have been the only live show where you had actual dancers on stage, human beings on stage. And it was just overall beautiful. I mean, the music, the composition, the choreography, it was just spectacular. And it showed off their fixtures in a beautifully artistic way. It wasn't just flash. It was art.
The programming was great.
The programming
Melody
was
did
great.
a great
Caleb
job.
did a great job.
Let me just jump in there because you're dragging my name through the mud. There are two questions. Booth, and I thought the Martin booth was very interesting, and then the show. And I agree. The Elation show was quite good. And I agree with Dennis. I watched it twice. There were a couple really kind of interesting effect cues that just stood out in that booth when that show went on. You thought you knew what everything was going to be, and there were a couple big surprises.
That begs an interesting question, Steve. What is the difference between a booth that has no show and a booth that has a show when you're talking about products? I mean, you do get lulled into a whole different world when you're watching a show, and it's like, oh, they had some products there? I missed that part.
Well, I think the show is there to bring you in to look at their products.
Right.
So
and to demonstrate the products.
Right.
I mean, the lasers were all demonstrated, the laser fixtures and the actual lasers themselves, which they were selling there, were demonstrated heavily in that show.
And you see these shows quite often. I mean, GLP, GLP I thought was an odd show this year. But, generally you will see them go through a discussion and a demo of each product well before you see the show. Then you see everything implemented in the show.
Right. And Elation did it differently. They did it. They explained the products after the show. But Steve is right. One way or the other, they usually demo the products. But yeah, and by the way, that show won the most creative use of light award at LDI. And deservingly so. It was just brilliant.
Kelsey, what did you think about the Acme booth?
Acme. I did see the Roadrunner.
Yeah, the Roadrunner should have been there. Right?
At least the Coyote should have been
Acme
there.
ton.
He uses Acme.
It's interesting because, here's something that, and people, and we can certainly joke about it, and I've mentioned that to a lot of people, and they said, Acme? You mean like Roadrunner?
Of course.
But they presented a show that was certainly competitive, but I found that it wasn't maybe just another moving light that was less expensive. They did have some interesting products in the show that they demoed, and I thought it was worth seeing.
Yeah, I think some of their lights were on the Battle of the Busk stage too. So it was fun to see how other people utilize them. The tornadoes are the ones that I find really fun. And we actually went to a couple of the LDI After Dark events at the nightclubs, and we saw a couple of tornadoes around.
Ooh, we can't wait to hear about the LDI After Dark stuff. We're not invited. We're too old. We all go to bed at 8 o'clock.
I didn't go to any of those clubs. I'll tell you.
We should move on. I want to hear about Kelsey's nighttime adventures.
Okay.
Well,
I was in bed
I
by
will say-
9.
the
was in
GLP
bed by-
booth, of course, they have their Mad Max, which is the massive, fixture that they had hanging, which was very exciting to see it actually in the air. But they created a JDC Max, which was the JDC 1s and the JDC 2s in a configuration to create a massive version. So that was just funny to see, because I don't know why anyone would ever put that many strobes in one spot.
Too many.
Yeah.
I walked by there, and the person who was talking to a group of high school students said, "Yeah, you can put it on the deck, or you can put it in the air. On the deck or in the air."
So there you go. That covers everything. Pretty much covers it. Okay.
I want to give ETC a shout out. I went to their room. They had a room on the second floor where they had displayed all of their consoles from 50 years. And it was just kind of an interesting booth. They also had their cookies, which was, of course, good. But they have some incredible swag, too. So I thought it was a great little
Well, we're going to get to the swag in a second. But ETC, I liked their booth on the floor for one reason and one reason only. They had free alcohol and really good food. So
Brackley, you're not.
I
Did
missed
anybody
that.
else go to the room, the breakout room upstairs to ETC?
Yeah,
yes, we all were.
Brackley,
I did, yeah.
Brackley's leaving out the best part, and I didn't know this.
The cookies?
No, not the cookies. The Yetis.
Fred Foster was quite a woodworker. I mean, he was a cabinet. He could build cabinets. He was really good as a woodworker. It was his hobby. And I didn't know this, but there was in that room sitting a console that was beautiful that was made out of wood. And Fred would prototype the consoles for the ergonomics of it in wood before they would go to production. And it was just gorgeous sitting there. It was a piece of furniture, beautiful.
If you like to put drinks on a console.
Well, that's what the
Plate.
Yeti's
You can
for.
eat off of it. Well, the Yeti was great.
The small Yeti, the Wisconsin shot glass.
And they ran out of them because people like me. Okay. And the cookies were unbelievable. The pigs I could do without.
They also had these ETC pins. They were ETC 50, but they also had these gold pins that were sandals, because Fred always wore sandals when he was working. So they had this golden sandals pin. I thought it was interesting.
It was great. It was nice of ETC to do that.
What was that moving light they came out with years ago?
The Revolution.
I looked at the Revolution, and I remember that light just being gigantic. But when I saw it compared to lights today, it looked kind of small.
Okay.
You could fit that on a balcony rail.
I love ETC. Everyone knows I love ETC. I think that they're the most amazing company in so many ways. Technology, but I think the Revolution was a real mistake. They sold a lot of them, but boy, I mean, I think it was a good idea in theory.
Well, they were quiet.
They're quiet, but they're modular. Like, you didn't have to get everything into a moving light. That was the cool thing about the Revolution. But I think the technology was just not ready for prime time, and
It was also very slow. It wasn't a fast
very
fixture at all.
It was very slow. It was somewhat noisy, and. But they used them a lot, actually, in a lot of West End theaters, believe it or not. I couldn't believe it.
But, Dennis, I was doing some dance in, I think it was Germany, and their rig was Panny moving light fixtures. And they were not moving fast enough for me. And the electrician said, "Why would you ever want them to move fast? We have like 100 in the air. Just turn some off and move them in the dark.
That's right.
It won't take more than 3
It's
or
not a
4
rock
seconds.
and roll show.
Right,
It's a
that's
dance
what he
show.
kept saying. He said, just
right.
have a coffee. Take your time.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with that electrician. And they also had the history of their lighting consoles, and of course they had the Micro Q, and they had the they had the Congo. I remember when the Congo came out. It was really a great place to just sit and relax, and I used it quite a bit actually. It was a nice place to relax and eat some cookies.
Did you notice the prototype there of the luster? I guess it was.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That was very
That was
funny.
like an abomination.
Yeah. It looks like somebody put it together from a junkyard, Like, okay, this looks like stick this on the back of it. Yeah, let's take a look at that. That was pretty cool. All right, our next topic, our favorite Circle Bar drinks. Before we start talking about this, I just want to say that the Circle Bar, I really preferred where they put it this year. It was on the left-hand side. It wasn't all the way straight back. I just thought it was much better to be there. And the way they had Battle of the Busk right next to it instead of beyond it, I think it worked a lot better. And it just felt better. I don't know. Do you all feel the Circle Bar was a really cool place to hang?
Oh yeah, I think once Hard Rock closed and Ellen jumped on the idea of the Circle Bar at the trade show, I think that was a moment of clarity and genius on her part.
Now, Kelsey, I saw both you and Keegan there a few times. Did you try different drinks out? Would you have a question about the bartenders? The bartenders were less surly this year than they were last year. I'll tell you that right now. But did you agree, Kelsey?
Yeah, we were in line and we realized, I think in years past, it was an open bar. And halfway through, we're like, oh, people are paying for drinks. Okay. And then we got to the front and they gave us a bunch of drink tickets and then we got free drinks. So that was great. There
was a lot of free alcohol on the floor. It was really crazy this year.
Yeah, I met a couple people at the Circle Bar. It's a nice, easy place to find. And the glow motion stuff is just so mesmerizing.
So cool.
Yeah.
Especially after a few drinks.
Yeah, especially after a few drinks. It is really one of the coolest little architectural lighting things. Beautifully cued and just very, very kinetic and wonderful. And right next to it was the Battle of the Busk stadium or stage or whatever you want to call it. It was pretty well laid out this year. They had chairs all in the front. There, you could lie on the floor. You could sit in the chairs. My only problem with Battle of the Busk is that it was so damn loud. It was really loud.
Let's clarify this. Were you having a drink when you were laying in the floor?
Oh, I was inebriated already. I was already. The drinks are already done. I had to get in the right frame of mind at Battle of the Busk, and I enjoyed the competition. I enjoyed the designs. I thought these teams did a great job busking stuff they haven't even heard yet, And the DJs were great. I thought the DJs were just pretty awesome. The equipment was awesome. The video was kind of cool. And I heard that, I forgot who I was talking to about this, but apparently they had to use the same video content, or they had a library of content they could choose from. Am I right, Kelsey?
That's what I heard too.
So, it wasn't like they came up with their own content. It was, they had to use the content that was given to them. And I thought all the teams did great. I really did. I think there were 4 teams this year.
That also speaks to Ellen's commitment to education. And a lot of people think LDI is just a weekend of a show floor open and you walk around and you see equipment. There's a week of training that goes into that. And with Battle of the Busk, generally, as I remember, if you are selected to present and you are an expert on a Grand MA, they put you on a different console. So it's an educational event for that week to learn something new. And you're right. I mean, last year, it was interesting looking at how they did content, because there was content that was available and to be used. But what was interesting was seeing how different teams used the same content in very different ways.
It's funny watching because, we're all sitting and critiquing. And then I think, well, if it were me up there, I would probably be able to do the same thing. Like, you have to remember, this is their first, they only had 2 hours on the rig beforehand. So all these fixtures are new. No, they don't know how to program a new fixture. The pixel mapping plus the pan and the tilt and the strobe, you have so many things to keep track of. And they're picking colors. And so we were trying to figure out, is it the video team leading the color switch, or is it the lighting team leading the color switch and the video follows? But I think they did really well.
And some of them might be a little nervous too, doing that in front of all these lighting design critiques.
Oh yeah, it must be extremely stressful. Back in Hog Factor, both Steve and I would send teams all the time, and the stress they went over through that was pretty crazy too. Oh, one other thing, they didn't know what boards they were going to use. There were like 4 or 5 different consoles. It was pretty crazy. So I thought they all did a great job.
I think the ones that are really successful are communicating really clearly, because you will hear video or you'll hear lighting. All of a sudden you'll hear them say, "We're going blue, stand by, we're going blue." And the team responds to that as opposed to a discussion of, "Well, I thought green might be better here." So they video and lighting pass it back and forth. And
Steve, I don't know if you were there, but you couldn't hear anything over that music. That music was painfully loud.
Well, they have headsets. There's a difference.
Yeah, I understand that, but I'm saying, but we can't hear them communicating. There was no way I even knew about.
Well, you were
that
laying
happening.
on the floor with your gin and tonic up front.
No, the gin and tonic was done. It was vodka, by the way. It wasn't gin. I don't drink gin, and all that was gone. So by that time, but that leads us right into something that Dennis and I experienced, and that is. And this is sort of a wild card because it wasn't on the list, because I just remembered I forgot to put it on the list, our favorite conference session. I don't know if you all went to sessions. I know we were one of the sessions. So besides Light Talk, what were your favorites?
I think the portfolio review was quite successful this year.
Good.
We
All
had
right.
12 really wonderful reviewers, and we filled every slot from 1 to 4, and we were not breathing haze during that entire time.
That's wonderful. Dennis?
So anyway, I thought the portfolio review went very well.
Good. Congratulations. And talk about education. That's a wonderful service.
And we're very glad that Steve was part of it.
Hands down, I didn't get to obviously every single presentation. I only went to 3 or 4, but I would be hard pressed, other than Light Talk Live, to think that there was anything better than Justin Townsend's presentation on Death Becomes Sir, where he had his whole design team, Colleen Doherty, who was one of the guests on our show, Nick Solom and Brad Gray. It was a pretty spectacular presentation that utilized an LED wall, which surprised me. It was just totally well done. And hearing everybody talk about their experiences on Death Becomes Her, the Broadway musical, was pretty special. It was just, I can't imagine another presentation that was better than that.
It was impressive. I was very proud of Nick, because Nick was one of my former students, and I was his undergraduate teacher, and then he went to NYU for graduate work, and he was assisted me for many years, and then was my associate when I did a show in New York. He is an amazing. He's been on the show, so but it'd be great to get that team on the show.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wish I'd seen it. It was conflicting with the portfolio review, so we couldn't see it at that time. But I heard it was really excellent.
And of course, there was my presentation on Good Morning America. But
I was going to say, I attended that one. I went to Dennis's talk, and it was
how
great.
How was it? Tell us.
It was great.
All right, there you go.
I heard he just talked and ran out of the room. Didn't even stay for the Q&A.
He brought drafting, which I thought was really exciting, because that's what I do, is I draft. And so, we're creating our own standards and workflows.
Did you take drafting with you?
I did. I have a whole packet here. I brought the fixture
I
schedule,
brought several
everything.
copies of the drafting package and told people and students in the room they could take them as swag if they wanted. And we had a pretty good presentation, a PowerPoint presentation that my assistant Sloan made. I know that it was we went very long, and poor Jeff Ravitz, who was the moderator, was getting very antsy about it. He kept waving to me. I think the only thing that made him happy about my presentation was at the very end, the last slide in my PowerPoint presentation was a slide of the book Lighting for Televised Live Events that Jeff wrote with Jim Moody.
Right.
And I had told people in the room, if they want to know more about lighting for television, they should buy this book.
Okay, so that moves us to our favorite swag. What was your favorite swag? We already mentioned the ETC swag, which was my favorite.
I think that was the best.
Yetta.
Yeah, the Yeti. The Yeti, it was the best. Absolutely. Even better than our blue balls. Our blue balls are pretty cool, but we weren't giving out Yetis.
We've got to give a shout out to ETC and Bobby Hale. I mean, he crashed into Light Talk with swag, like a shopping cart full of swag for everybody on stage.
Wait, I didn't get any swag from Bobby Hale.
Yes, you did. I put it on your.
Yes, you
I put
did.
it in front of you.
Right in
What,
front
those
of
socks?
No.
No.
It was another Yeti.
He gave a Yeti that was a big Yeti.
Somebody stole my Yeti. Which one of my brothers and sisters stole my Yeti? I didn't get a Yeti.
Maybe that's why I have two in my bag. I'm not
I saw
sure.
Brackley wearing the socks. I have not worn my socks
Were you
yet.
wearing my socks? I haven't worn my socks. I did get this, though. Let me show you. You guys are going to love this.
For our listeners at
This is
home,
what you
David
get
has
when
now
you
run
sit
away
around.
from the mic to his kitchen.
A beanie.
See it?
Oh,
An
you got
LDI
LDI beanie.
An LDI beanie.
I
he's,
didn't get one of
It's
those.
a pate. It keeps my pate
he's
warm,
going.
right?
He's shifted into LDI hipster mode now
And you need that in Long Beach.
because I hear it's 58 degrees.
freezing in Long Beach, let me tell you. It's 58 degrees.
That
All right.
looks very
Well,
funny on you, David.
Well, good. Well, thank you very much. Okay. Okay, so that's our favorite swag. LDI Awards. I just want to say something, guy, because I don't think any of my brothers and sisters went to those because that was like the last day, and I was there. And I went for the bagel. Okay, I went for the bagels and the coffee.
I had to
but
leave
it was-
town. I missed them.
Yeah, okay. But I just wanted to say that one of my, we already talked about several booth awards, different companies that won the booth awards. One of the awards was the best product to improve our lives, and Lightright won.
Did you happen to see Sam Molitaris, who was on the show? I never got a chance to see him.
Yes, I saw him.
Okay.
Yeah, he was great. And I saw him and Mr. McKernan, and it was good to see him again. And, we were just talking. And John's great. I've known John from the very first Lightright, and before that. Also, they had the winners of the Diversity Artistic Scholarships. And we're going to have two of those people on the show. I've already arranged it in January. Elena and Darius. And that was wonderful to see these young people just getting out of school, getting scholarships so that, they can help pay for their schools that they're getting out of right now. And that takes us to our very last topic, our favorite Viva Las Vegas moments. Kelsey, you go first. What was your favorite Viva Las Vegas
I
moment?
already mentioned we went to the After Dark events. So I will say that
Rub it
seeing
in.
the
Just rub it in.
chandelier at
Oh, man.
Omnia and seeing the new lighting at Jewel, I think, going to the marquee and getting to skip the line, lots of fun. And a lot of familiar faces there. It was LDI takeover for sure.
Brackley, Viva Las Vegas, buddy.
Yeah, well, I have it all the time. I see it all the time. Just seeing everybody in Las Vegas is fun at LDI. I mean, you see all these young, energetic designers just walking around the floor and just absorbing everything is really exciting to see for me.
Yeah, that is beautiful. Dennis?
As I said when we were talking about what we wanted to see when we went out there, I haven't been to LDI in over 20 years. And I am so thankful to Ellen for giving me the opportunity to see friends and colleagues, like Brackley said.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of booths. There were a lot of fun things to see and do. But it's all about the interaction with friends and colleagues that you haven't seen in so long. If I'd have to pick a high point other than Light Talk Live, it'd be the Lumen Brothers brunch that we all had together.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yes,
I hadn't
that was
seen
great.
Brackley in probably 10 years. I had never met Zach. And the brothers got together for a wonderful brunch, which was just special.
What was the name of that place?
Pepper Mill?
The Pepper Mill.
Yeah.
And I must say that lounge at the Pepper Mill is a trip. There are more mirrors on the wall, and it is like a 70s sex dream. It's bad. It's
I heard
like
there weren't
really
as many
bad
mirrors
dream.
as there are in your bedroom, so I wasn't sure about that.
No.
Oh, no?
And the omelet to die for.
That omelet was huge. I mean, Ellen said
A
you need like
cholesterol
2 or 3.
omelet.
Yeah, I didn't eat. I ate 1/3 of it. Okay, there are like 12 eggs in it. right? I mean, they use a dozen eggs. It costs like $30. Thank God Dennis picked up the tab. Thank you, Dennis, for picking up the
You're
tab.
welcome.
Because that omelet was ridiculously expensive.
You know, going back to gatherings, Bobby Hale arranged a little gathering that some friends were at, new people that I met and some old friends. Chris Bozzoni, who's one of the lighting directors for Fox News. I haven't seen him in 10, 12 years. Al Rodella, who I haven't seen, who's now at Mainlight. I mean, it was just lovely. Even Brackley arranged a quick meeting with me with a young student of his named Amanda Valdez, who worked with me, 10 years ago, and just catching up with what's going on in her life. John Reynolds and Tori Piper. Pardon me, Brackley?
Yeah. No, and after you left, she was so touched that you wanted to see her, and you came all the way up to that room to see her. That was very nice of you.
What room? Is this something we need to talk about?
the
Snoot!
portfolio
Snoot, we got a
review
problem.
room.
Snoot.
The portfolio review room is what.
I could
room.
go on and on
like,
with people I met, but you get the gist of it. It's just that's the reason to go to LDI. It's just wonderful to hook up with people you haven't seen in a long time.
And be careful how you use that term "hook up." It doesn't mean the same as it did when we were young.
My wife keeps telling me that as well.
I've learned the hard way at school that you can't say, "Hey, I'll hook you up." You cannot say stuff like that. Steve, what was your favorite Las Vegas moment?
I had two moments. One was when I got thrown out of a cab for the first time in my life by the driver. The second was I have to give a shout out to Resorts World. So I show up, my room is not ready, and the lady looks at me very graciously and says, I can offer you a room with a rather boring view of the mountains, but I also have $200 here that you can use at the bar. So I got a room of a mountain view instead of a strip view, and a drink ticket for $200 for 3 days in Vegas.
Well, I think the mountain views sometimes are better than the strip views. Just
I agree with Brackley, and that brings me a great segue to my favorite Las Vegas, Viva Las Vegas moment. And that I stayed at the Westgate, and they gave me a room that faced the strip, and it also faced the Westgate marquee. And also, I had a great view of the Sphere as well. And I'm talking to Snoot on the phone, and I'm looking out the room, and all of a sudden the marquee changes and says, "Welcome, Carol." And for people who've been watching Pluribus, which is that great Apple TV show, they know what I'm talking about. It's like an inside joke. It actually appears in this on the marquee. The Westgate's there. When it said "Welcome, Carol," it was like, oh my God! It's like one of the scariest things I've ever seen on TV, by the way. But anyway, that was my favorite Las Vegas moment. And that pretty much wraps up LDI. And, besides thanking Ellen for doing such a great job and her staff doing such a great job, and thanking my brothers and sisters for actually being on the show and putting up with it. This is like our 7th or 8th LDI. I keep forgetting which number it is.
I would like to ask Kelsey a favor, if she wouldn't mind. Kelsey, next year, you and Keegan have to take David and I, and probably Steve too, on your late night adventures in LDI After Dark, because, old boomers like us, we need younger people to guide us around.
We'll make it happen.
The hip places.
And I can't go?
We'll make it happen.
You're always there.
We know you're a party animal, Brackley.
Right.
Okay.
I'm there at 12 midnight every night.
Well, Snoot will insist on coming as well. And it's good because she'll get us out of jail if there's an issue.
Also
that's always a good
also
thing.
with Ellen, she was an early believer in Light Talk. She did a very nice review of the show, and she
did a review of the show.
Invited us immediately to come to LDI, and she has always had good advice. I mean, between Ellen and Dennis, they know everybody in the industry, and that has made a real difference in our lives.
Yeah,
I agree.
To have Ellen and now Dennis on the show.
And now Kelsey.
Yeah, Kelsey's now she's going to be an honorary Lumen sister
And
because she's
isn't
going to be on
Kelsey
another
gonna-
show.
She's going to do a
Yes.
show, right?
Yes, Kelsey has proposed a show. You want to tell us a little bit about it, Kelsey?
Yeah, we've had this conversation a couple times, and as a young woman in the industry, I often have it with other women about just women in lighting and what the gap is and what it takes and how we can do better. And so we'd like to have more Lumen Sisters on the podcast and do a little show about that.
Absolutely. So that's going to be coming up in January or February as soon as we get the panel together. But as soon as possible, it's going to happen. And thank you, Kelsey, for coming up with that wonderful idea. All right. So, Ellen, we miss you. And know that Kelsey did a great job. I'm sure you're listening to us now. So we'll catch you next week. Well, the rocking sounds of the Luminoids tell us that once again you've spent another morning listening to Light Talk. You can hear our show on just about every podcast site out there. Check out our website at lighttalk.org and be sure to follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our podcast. That way you will not miss a second of Light Talk Insanity.
No guarantee is offered regarding the accuracy of any statements or opinions made on this podcast. However,
if you do decide to litigate, you will have to deal with me, Snoot from the Snoot Group. And don't get it twisted. Just because I married one of these losers does not mean I will go easy on you. So don't fuck with me.
Light Talk is written and produced by the Lumen Brothers.
And sisters.
Coming to you from, and in alphabetical order, Las Vegas, the Lone Star State, Long Beach, Los Angeles, and a cold, snowy New York, New York.
Light Talk, broadcasting questionable Lumen knowledge and humor around the world.
So we'll see you all next Saturday morning. Thanks again, Kelsey, and bye-bye from Light Talk.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.